Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Let's encode the logic. I hope you are doing good. In this video, we are going to discuss about a program that was Fibonacci Sequence. This program is very important during interviews, guys, because this program has the more chances to ask by the interviewers. So without making any delay, let's quickly jump into the discussion. What is a Fibonacci sequence? The Fibonacci sequence is a series of numbers where each number is the sum of two preceding ones, usually starting with 0 and 1. So the sequence goes like this: 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, and so on with each subsequent number being the sum of the previous two numbers. So if you see, the Fibonacci sequence will start from 0 and 1. Okay, let's keep that. And later, with each subsequent number being the sum of previous two numbers. So in the Fibonacci sequence, the first term is 0 and the second term is 1. And the third term will be the sum of previous two numbers. So the sum of 0 plus 1 is 1. And the fourth term was sum of its previous. That was 1 plus 1. It was 2. And the fifth term was sum of its previous. That was 1 plus 2. It was 3. And the sixth term was 3 plus 2. It was 5. And the next term was 3 plus 5. That was 8. And 5 plus 8. It was 13. And 8 plus 13. It was 21. It will keep on going. Right? There is no stop to this Fibonacci sequence. Now we need to write a code for this Fibonacci sequence. Now the question was how we can write a code for a problem which will keep on going. There is no stop for it, right? So what we will do is, for example, if you see Fibonacci sequence up to 5 terms. For suppose if the user will enter 5, then you need to print the first 5 terms in the Fibonacci sequence. And if the user will enter 10, then you need to print the first 10 terms in the Fibonacci sequence. So in this way, we need to write the code. We won't go beyond the limit. So within the limit, we will write a code. Let's write the code for it. So before diving into the coding part, let's figure out the logic in the simple words. At first, we need to take the input. So what could be my input? My input was n. So I need to mention number of terms, right? Now coming to the logic part, I want to use a for loop because if you observe, this is the first term and this is the second term and this is the third term and this is the fourth term, fifth term, sixth term. For suppose if the user asks you to print the first 5 terms, then you will go from 0 to 3, right? You will print the first term and then the second term and then the third term, fourth term, fifth term. You are following a sequence, right? So that's why I will use a for loop. And while iterating on the for loop, I will print the terms. So this is my logic. Now let's write the code for it. Okay, let me keep it coming first. That was Fibonacci Sequence Program, right? Okay, now I need to take the input. So my input was n, right? So n equal to int of input of enter number of terms, right? Now, if you see, my Fibonacci sequence will starts from 0 and then 1. They are already defined, right? So we need to define them in our code also. I will keep f1 equal to 0 and f2 equal to 1. Okay. And also, these are my first and second terms, right? So I need to print them, right? So, okay, let me print them. So print f1, comma f2, comma and equal to. I will use an and equal to because I kept this because I want to print the remaining terms within the same line. Okay. Now I will use a for loop for the remaining terms. So for I in range of. So what could be my range? So this is my first term and this is my second term. So I need to print from the third term, right? And I need to go till nth term, right? So my range was 3 comma n plus 1. Now what I need to do? I need to print the remaining terms, right? So how could I print this term? I will add the previous two terms, right? Okay, let's do that. I will add f1 plus f2. Let me store it another variable that was f3. f3 equal to f1 plus f2. Nice. What should I do? I need to print the f3, right? Okay, let me do that. I will keep and equal to. Okay. Okay, now let's trace the code. So at first I will print 0 and 1 and then I will do f3 equal to 0 plus 1. Then my f3 will become 1, right? And then I will print f3. And again, I will go to the second iteration. And again, I will do f1 plus f2. And again, in the second iteration also, my f3 will become 1. In the third iteration also, it will become 1. And then in the fourth iteration also, it will become 1. So my output was like 1, 1, 1. But I want my output as 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, right? So I need to add something in my code. Okay, let's figure out what was happening. Okay, let's take a series of items. That was 1, then 2, and then 3, right? In my first iteration, what was happening? This was F1, and this was F2, and this was F3, right? So I will do F3 equal to F1 plus F2. Then I got 1. Okay, working fine. Now to get the fourth term, that was 2, what I need to do? I need to make this 1 as F1 and this 1 as F2, right? So I will make this as F1 and this as F2, and I will print F1 plus F2. That was 2, right? And to get this fifth term, that was 3, what I need to do? I need to make this as F1 and this as F2, right? Okay, let me do that. Then this was F1 and this was F2, and F3 equal to 1 plus 2, that was 3, right? Now, every time what I was doing, I was changing my F1 and F2 variables, right? I was changing them. So, how I was changing them? Now, let's go back and see again. In order to get my fifth term, that was 3, what I need to do? I need to make F2 as F1 and F3 as F2, right? Then only we will get the F3. So this is the simple change that we need to do in our logic. Okay, what was that change? We are making F2 equal to F3 and F1 equal to F2. Simple, right? Okay, let's include that in our code. We are making F2 equal to F3 and F1 equal to F2. We are keeping the upcoming term, right? For the F2, the upcoming term was F3, and for the F1, the upcoming term was F2, right? We are just keeping the upcoming terms in them. Now, if I change my variables like this, so what happens? I was storing the value of F3 in F2, right? Okay. Let me understand this for you in pictorial representation. Okay. So this was F2, and I was storing the value of F3, right? Now my F2 was storing F3. Okay, fine. And I was storing the value of F2 in F1, right? So I was storing F2 in F1, right? So what was my F2? My F2 was F3, right? So what happening? Both F2 and F1 was storing F3 itself. Then this is not the proper way of changing the variables, right? But this is the correct way only. But we need to do a little bit of modification in our code. That was, before changing F2 equal to F3, we need to change F1 equal to F2 first. Then we need to change F2 equal to F3. Okay, let's change it and we'll see. Okay, let me remove this and let's write F1 equal to F2 and F2 equal to F3, right? Now let's see. I was storing the value of F2 in F1, right? Okay. So this is the F1 and I was storing F2. Okay, fine. And I was storing the value of F3 in F2, right? So this is the F2 and this was F3, right? Now this is working perfectly, right? Now the F1 was storing F2 and the F2 was storing F3. That is what we want. Now let's trace the code. Let us say I want to go till 5 terms. At first I will print 0 and 1, and then in the first iteration, that was when I equal to 3, my F3 will become F1 plus F2. That was 0 plus 1, which is equal to 1. And then my F1 will become F2, nothing but 1. My F2 will become F3, which is equal to 1. Okay. And in the second iteration, nothing but when I equal to 4, right? My F3 will become F1 plus F2. So we will do 1 plus 1, which is equal to 2. And my F1 will become F2. F2 was 1, right? And my F2 will become F3, which is equal to 2. So F2 will become 2. Okay. And in the third iteration, nothing but when I equal to 5, my F3 will become F1 plus F2. That was 3. And I will print that. Later my F1 will become F2, which is 2, and F2 will become 3. So in this way, the program will work. Now let me run this program and we'll see. So I will give 5. So it was 0, 1, 1, 3. Okay, let me run this program again. And this time I'll give 10. So if you see 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2 plus 3, 5, 3 plus 5, 8, 5 plus 8, 13, 8 plus 13, 21, and 21 plus 13, 34. Okay, working fine. Okay, let me run this program again. So I will give 0. So it was giving me 0 and 1. Why it was giving me like that? It shouldn't, right? Okay, let me give 1 this time. So it was again giving me 0 and 1. So my program needs to print 0 only when my number of terms was 1. So now again I need to change my code, right? Okay, what I will do is I will use a if else statement. If n equal to 1, I will print f1, comma n equal to elif n equal to 2, then I will print f1, comma f2, right? Or else means when my n is 3, 4, 5, right? Then every time I need to print this for sure, right? Okay, let me print that. And also I need to go through this iteration, right? Okay, now let me run this program again. So I will give 1. So it has given me only 0. Okay, fine. And let me run this program again. I will give 2. So it was giving me 0 and 1. Okay, let me run this program again. I will give 5. Okay, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, working fine. And one more thing, there is no need to keep this statement, because if n equal to 1, it will print 0. Or else, if n equal to 2, then it will print 0 and 1. And this for loop will not going to be executed because my n was 2 and my range was 3, 3, which doesn't make any sense, right? So this for loop will not execute it. Okay, now let me run this program and we'll again see. So if it is 2, okay, it was giving me 0 and 1. Fine. And let me run this program again. So I will give 6 this time. So if you see 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. So in this way, we will write a Fibonacci sequence program using for loop, guys. Now we need to write the same program using the while loop, right? Okay, let me remove this for part. So from where should I need to start my iteration? I need to start my iteration from 3, right? And while I less than or equal to n, I will do f3 equal to f1 plus f2. And I will print f3, command equal to space. And I will make f1 equal to f2 and f2 equal to f3, right? And also I need to increment my I value, right? I will do I equal to I plus 1. So this is the code. Let me run this program. So I will give 20. So these are the first 20 terms in the Fibonacci sequence, right? And let me run this program again. I will give 2. So if you see, it was 0 and 1. Okay, working fine. I will give 3. So 0, 1, 1, working fine. And I will give 9. So the first 9 terms. So these are the first 9 terms. So in this way, we will write the Fibonacci sequence program using while loop. So that's it about today's video, guys. That was Fibonacci sequence program. I hope you like this video and thank you for watching. Hey folks, if you enjoyed this coding tutorial and found it helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Share it with your fellow coding buddies, drop a comment with your thoughts or questions, and of course, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest content. Your support means a lot and it helps our community grow. Happy coding!